Hi, welcome. We're working on our next signature for our album, and it's going to be a top flap with a small little bottom one. And let's go ahead and start working on our paper sizes. So I'm going to move some of this around, kind of get it out of the way. This is what I'm using for my base page. I think it's so pretty. And again, it's out of the 22 pack. And the measurements are remaining the same at 9¼ inches across, and then your 8 5/8 in your height. Now in my scraps, I have this piece. And as we just recently, no, we're going to be using it. Okay, so to get to this piece, I better tell you about the front. This is what I'm using on the front, is this sheet right here. So why don't we talk about the cutting and the measurements on this so that you can get this piece. So this top flap is going to measure at 8 1/8 inches in height. And it's going to measure that 9 1/4 in the width. So 8 1/8 in the height. We're going to run some tape, and then it's going to come in off the top. So then this piece is what I cut and trimmed for here. So once you get that done, then you should have this piece here. Now I did not cut this down. So I don't believe I cut it down. Is it 2 7/8 across, and then the pocket is at 3 inches by 8 5/8 of an inch. And then I took this hot air balloon, if I can get it over here, I cut it out of this card. I wanted this statement right here. So I cut it out of this card, and if you want to save this half for something, you can. And then that's what's going to go right here. So let me grab my tape. And then take the backing off. Get this glued down, and then I've got to make sure that I have all my elements for this. I don't think I did. So then this can go, I'm going to put it up here up at the top because that's where hot air balloons are. They're up at the top. Now, when I just blew it. That's okay, I can get it in there. I forgot my die piece, but that means I'm going to have to cut. That's what had my brain kind of on a fog, is that I built this yesterday and I'm just getting back to it, and I didn't remember if I prepped this one or not, and so I get this down here and then I go, okay, I forgot to do that. All right, so it's pretty easy to do. Is I'm going to take and very carefully, I'm going to use some undo. I don't want to tear this. I'm just going to lift up these two corners, and then I will slide this in. Just like so. Okay, and then I want, so I'm going to end up covering up a little bit of the end of the flag here. But that's okay. And then I'm going to cut this piece here. A little bit of glue in there. And then I want to take and put a little bit of more glue down here at this bottom. And then I can snip that piece off. All right, so now that is done. My next step is going to be adding this on. I've already got my tape in place, and it's going to come here. And again, I want that hinge on the top, so we're going to bring this right up to the 1/2 inch score line. Now you will have a little bit of pushback, because, or I will, because I'm using a rather raised ribbon. Now the bottom piece, which is going to hold, help hold it closed, because we're going to be putting some magnets on this, is not going to be very big. It's more there to act as a closure. So this piece, if I can get my ruler turned around here, is sitting at 3. I've got it right in between 3 1/4 and 3 1/8. So you pick the distance. I would caution you, go to 3 3/8 because of the magnet placements. So I am cutting it kind of close. I want you cutting this to 3 3/8, and then it is your 9 1/4 across. And then we're going to put this on. I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. And again, I'm going to have pushback right here because of that really high pearly ribbon I'm using. Okay. And this will go under. I need to reinforce this score line, so I'm going to push back on it. There we go. And so now I want to put on my magnets, and there's going to be one at each corner, because putting in one is just going to cause the corners to curl up. It's just not going to be enough. So I'm putting on 2 sets of magnets. And because I have more room on the top, I'm actually going to place them here on the bottom, I think. And then I'm going to take a piece of paper and cover where those are. And I will cut off just a little bit of tape for the back of each one. Whoops, get over there. All right, now I am going to make sure that my hinges are standing up and that my page side walls match. And I'm hoping I put those in the right spot. Oh, good, 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 good. It came close, but there you go. Put that back over there. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is bring this toward me, and I'm going to put some reinforcing tape on these because there's not much that's holding them in place. There we go. Okay, so on the inside, there is this sheet here. And the reverse side is this. As lovely as this is, I don't want it competing with this piece on the top. Now you can choose whichever side of the paper you want to use. This is out of one of the 12 by 12 packs. I'm using this side because it's a softer covering. And again, it doesn't compete. It allows for this to speak for itself on the front, if that makes any sense to you. So once you get that on and you get that cut and trimmed, you're going to have a small thin piece. So we're going to put that down here at the bottom so that these have a coordinating match. And then what I'm putting right here is just more of a decoration than it is anything. It's certainly not going to be functional because there's just not enough room on this flap to make something functional. So once I get that in there, I fussy cut out the big car out of the fussy cut sheet. And I'm just going to place it right down here. Now, if you want, you could tape across this bottom section and create a tuck, but to me, there just isn't enough room. So I'm doing this more as a statement piece that I'm doing anything else, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece in. This is going to be a big album, so we're going to have a lot of the repeat patterns and papers. There's just no way around it. So my goal is just to try and create a different design on each signature. And then we'll glue down the car. Just put him here. Just gently lay him down. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put this on. Now because I've got magnets up here, I am going to tape the back of this. I'm gonna have to go to my die cut machine and trim out one of my lace die trimmings. Now this is a big piece. Oh, that just came apart. I just was very brutal with that. As I was saying, this is such a big piece. I'm going to run a stabilizing piece down here because I'm going to have the tape up on the top. Now, for ease of attachment, I'm going to turn this around. Okay. Now I do have some excess that's hanging out here on this end. Okay. Now my intent with this is that this total upper piece is for your very large photos. I know that on a lot of the weddings that I've been to or have looked at the photo albums, there's always this big, beautiful photo of the wedding or the wedding party. So that's my intent for this upper piece. And I cut out this card, this heart, backed it on blue cardstock because I want to create a tuck up here. So if you want to bring the photo and tuck it up, most of those big photos have a tree in the top or a skyline in the top that's, you can tuck this up underneath there, and then you've got the main feature for your attendees or just the bride and groom. And I'm just going to stick it right up here. All right, so that's done. Now we're going to work on this piece covering this. So in your scraps, I hope you have this wooden strip, because that's what we're going to put down here. It plays well with this, and it's going to look really nice when that's closed and we have our floral here. It allows this to stand out by itself. There's no competition going on down here. So this is going to get taped on. All right. Now, before I go any farther, I need to get this put on. And because my die is not long enough to go all the way across this, I have some extra pieces here, and I'm going to cut. I already measured where I want it to be cut at. This will be my piece that comes in here at the tail end. Oh, I don't want to do that with 1/4 inch tape. It's going to work a lot easier if I use 1/8 of an inch tape. So I'll start with the big piece first. I just noticed that these did not punch out cleanly, so let me fix that. There we go. And then I will line this. I gotta bring it to me. I hope I'm still in camera for you. Okay, and then this piece. And I'm just going to butt it right up to the end. Now I can lay this piece in. Now this brown piece does have very faintly some wording, so make sure you get it sitting in the right position, or you're going to have, somebody's going to point out to you, well, there's words on this and they're upside down. And this helps to hide that little seam that's right there, so it's barely noticeable. And then I have my, oh, I couldn't do that on this. That's right. I was doing something different here. No relacer ribbon, because I cut this out of one of the cards. So this, I wanted this statement, and I love the image, so I'm just setting it right here. I'm not putting any ribbon or lace behind it because I don't want it coming forward and preventing that top from closing. So I am just going to simply glue it in place. I'm going to use my fingers as my pincher marks so I know where I'm going to be applying my glue. just going to bring it right down here at the bottom. Okay, so that's our bottom flap. Now let's go ahead and let's work on our top. I have to step away for just a second. I need to trim out this piece here. It won't take me very long. I am just going to pop it right on the machine here. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit. I miscalculated that I didn't have enough trim, so I do apologize for this. It's not like you don't know how to clean out your die cuts. Okay, so I am now going to put this here across the bottom, and I have another one here. Actually, this is the one I used. Yay. Trying to get this lined up here. And then there's my small piece. This taped on the back. You need to trim it down just a bit more. All right, so then when I place this on here, it will help hide that seam. This is a big piece, so I am going to tape it on rather than glue it on. So I'm going to move that up out of my way. And then I'm going to run one down the middle so that the paper stays down flat up against the cardstock. right, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to place this on here. All right. Now I'll take my tape, come across here, and then some glue. Then I'll line this up. Gotta hurry because this lace absorbs this glue. Oh, Pete's sake. Come on, lay down. And then I'm going to take, and I think I'm going to cut it right here. All right, so that's in. Now, on the front of this, I need to trim. I made 2 pockets. Now, however you make your pockets will be dependent upon, you know, the design or the set that you're using. I did add some lace, some of that pearly lace that just, and then with using white cardstock, I did not want whatever was on here to outshow or conflict with the paper in the back. So I used white, and I'm using the ephemera chairs. They'll turn and face each other. And then this one, I have several floral arrangements that I'm going to be putting on here. Trying to figure out which way that rose will go. Over here on this one, a little bit easier. So I've got the pocket. I have the chair, And this is one solid piece out of the ephemera. And again, it will come in right here at the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to tape these in with thin tape. It's 1/8 of an inch. I want to be able to maximize the pockets. Now, if you're just simply cutting a square piece for a pocket, make sure that and you're adding lace, make sure that you've got enough height to get the chairs in. Okay, so on mine, they're going to I'm going to put them, rest them right on top of the ribbon and lace because I want there to be room to put things in here. And I'm going to start with this one because I've got some tape. I didn't put it on straight. All right, let me do my spacing here real quick. And then we'll take this one off. Right here. And then we're going to put the chairs in. Now I don't know if I'm going to get lucky enough to peel this backing off. Nope, that's tearing it. Wow, I got it. It wanted to tear, but I got it. Okay, center this. I want it up here a bit high because I'm putting the roses here across the bottom. Let's see if I can get in there again. Got it. And then I'm going to try and pick a place here. Nope, that's wanting to tear. Got it. There. Okay, so this is going to just come here across. Oops. Bring it over a little bit more. This one goes almost the entire width of my pocket. All right, so I am going to try and mimic this setup with these here, using the single ones. Ouch. Okay, we're going to set this right here, and then I'm going to come in with this one. Nope, that wants to tear. Gosh, all the way across the top of that it wants to tear away. Did I get it? I got it. And then this, I'm going to set, see how this leaf comes here. So I'm going to set this one. I'll bring it over here a little bit. And then I'm going to put this one here across the bottom in front of them. I don't know why this does it. It wants to tear that paper off the backing. Okay, and then we're going to, it's kind of a catch-22. See, these edges here are really flat, so it makes me feel like it should go across the bottom. But then the rose looks better going this way. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so there you go. This is all set up. Again, you open this and you've got a big, beautiful spot here. Now this can be several larger photos or one big grand photo. And then here you can put in a small written dedication. And then down here, we just simply have some moments going on here. And then we've got the car on the back, and then you've got your big pocket. Now, because I had to lift that tape, I just saw it. This corner wants to lift a bit, so I'm going to squeeze some glue in there. Okay, there we go. Let's turn it over, and let's grab our big tape. I think I'm going to, is this the same size? Yeah, I'm going to probably run out of this here. Oops, just ran out. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take that off because when I get this in the album, trying to pick apart two separate pieces is not going to work well. So I'm just going to peel that off and put in the nice long clean strip. That was just a flash there, a moment that I went, wait a minute. Okay, we're going to run some support strips. Need to cap my glue off real quick. I apologize. There we go. All right, let's grab the book. And this is going to lay on this page right here. All right. I'm developing quite a bow in my album, and that's because of the type of flatback pearls, the lace with pearls. They do create a bit of height, if you will. So depending upon what it is you're using, you may not be encountering that issue. I've got to burnish this piece right here. All right, now let's go ahead and pull the paper off the tape. Now, usually I am doing this on this end, but see, I have this really long, nice hinge, so I'm going to press up against it to make sure it's standing straight and that it's not collapsing. And then I'm just going to work it all the way down. And I will repeat that process on this side. Okay. And now I'll get in here and take this tape out of here. Do it from this end because I didn't seal it. There we go. Okay. I have to tilt it up just a little bit to get over the bulge. So if you haven't started making yours, that's something maybe you can take into consideration. And I see too much of my tape out. There we go. All right. Done. Voila. Okay, we just have 3 to go. And I'll try to keep the designs fresh. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.